Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we discuss knives for city dwellers. Today we're going to have a look at the Boker Plus Tech Tool City 1 and see if it makes for a good urban EDC knife. First, a bit about Boker. Boker is well known for making quality knives out of Slender, Germany, but they do have a budget line or a value-oriented line called Boker Plus. Now, these knives are designed in Germany, but they're made in Asia, mainly in China and Taiwan. Now, politics aside, with good quality control, you can get really good knives out of China. In fact, many brands make their knives in China. So with good quality control, you can get great materials and great fit and finish and overall a good knife. And I think this is one of them. So I'll talk a bit more about the knife, but first let's take it out of the box. This is the box that it comes in. Break the seal, open it up, some instructions, and there you have the knife right over here. This is the Tech Tool 1, which means that it is actually the first in a range of multi-tools in this particular series, the Tech Tool series, which is really a direct competitor to the Swiss Army knife. So with the Tech Tool 1, you get one single blade. With 2, 3, and 4, you get different tools with different layers, and of course, the knife gets bigger. I was looking for a single blade slip joint, which is what this is, meaning there's no locking mechanism, and there's a nail nick for the blade, and you open it up. It's not a double detent, it just opens up. There's no half stop there, and this is the knife. Now, before we get into the specifications of the knife, let's have a look at some comparisons. The most obvious and direct comparison will be the Victorinox Swiss Army knife. And I'll be doing a lot of comparisons in this particular video because that's, I guess, what you would know, and we'll compare the features of the Tech Tool with the Swiss Army knife. We have the James brand Ellis knife, also a slip joint and about the same size. And one more just for comparison, even though it's not a slip joint, this is the Sisivi bow, which is about the same size. And finally, let's bring in an Altoids tin, so that you can just compare the size. Let's talk about the specs of the Boker Plus Tech Tool 1. The blade length is 2.8 inches long. The handle is 3.77 inches long, inclusive of the glass breaker at the end. This gives us an overall length of 6.57 inches long. The weight is just over 2 ounces. The blade steel, it's a great budget steel. This is the Sandvik 12C27. So it's a great steel, it's tough, it's got a Rockwell hardness of 58 to 60. Due to its uncoated mirror finish and of course the quality of the steel itself, this is going to be highly corrosion resistant. It's going to hold its edge pretty well, and even if it doesn't, it's going to be really easy to sharpen. This is a drop point style blade with a very slight hollow grind, and it's sharp out of the box. There's a sharpening choil over here, as well as a bit of a recausel, which is this flat part just at the edge of the base of the heel of the blade to the handle. There are solid steel liners, which gives it a nice solid feel. And these scales, these are the G10 black scales, and I believe that's why it's called the City model. But you can get a wide variety of scales, from carbon fiber to titanium to wood to micarta. Really lots of great choices. So whatever fits your style and your preferences, you can get those scales. You can also remove the scales with these Torx screws over here, and you can change the scales if you want. The older models did not come with the logo, but this one does. There's a deep carry clip, which is pretty deep, but there are no recessed screws. You can switch it around for tip up or tip down carry, but you cannot switch it over to the other side, so not ambidextrous, so to speak. In terms of the ergos, it's pretty good. I would say better than a Victorinox Swiss Army knife, slightly contoured. It's grippy. The G10 scales generally are good and grippy. Not much of a hot spot, even with the clip over here. And I have small to medium hands, and I can wrap them all around. If you have much bigger hands, probably your pinky would come over this side. But overall, I would say good ergos. This is a slip joint blade, so there's no locking mechanism. It closes shut, and to open it, you just use the nail nick to open it up. There's no half stop, Good lock, I would say the back spring is pretty good. And when using a slip joint knife, it's very different from a locking knife, so just be careful of how you use it. But I would say the back spring is pretty good. There is a stop pin right there, which basically protects the blade edge when you snap it shut, just like that. Finally, I believe all the Boker tech tools have this carbide glass breaking tool, which I think is pretty handy, especially in an urban setting. And that makes this an overall good tool since, well, it's a multi-tool. Now you have two tools in one. You have the blade as well as that glass breaker. So now let's compare this directly with a Victorinox Swiss Army knife. Over here I have a Victorinox Climber model. Now, better comparison with this particular knife would be probably the Solo Pioneer or maybe the Bantam, but I don't have that. This has more tools, but really I'm just gonna be comparing mainly the blades and the size. Now, I've had this knife for a very long time. It's pretty beat up and hasn't been maintained, so don't give me a hard time for it. So let's open up, and right off the bat you can see there's substantial difference in the size. Now, the overall knife, it's not much longer, but you can see the blade is much wider and it's also bigger. It's also thicker. And because this is Sandvik 12C27, so the Tech 2 has actually a better steel than the Victorinox. So when looking for a knife, I was looking for a slip joint knife, single blade. And this really caught my eye because I felt that it's got a heft and great for urban EDC tasks, even beyond just, let's say, cutting open letters. I find the Victorinox, of course, a great knife, very handy, but I would prefer a bigger blade. In terms of the blade design, just slightly different style. Victorinox more of a spear point, does have a sharpening choil as well as a longer ricasso over here. In terms of ergos, I would say it's about the same. I mean, obviously different designs, but honestly, you're not going to be using super hard work for each of these, so they would work either way. To me, really, the benefits of the Tech tool over the Victorinox, especially if you're looking for the single blade or even the other comparative Tech tools that Boker has, I think what people would generally like is the upgrade in the steel, the size and the thickness of the blade. So generally great finishing as well, and I think this will give Victorinox a run of the money if they can maintain their quality consistently. Let's talk about carrying this knife for urban EDC. Given its size, its weight and slim profile, this will disappear in your pocket. You can use the deep carry pocket clip. You can put this in a bag, slip it into a section in a satchel. Very convenient to bring around, I would say. You could also use an EDC organizer like this. This is by Fox EDC, which I do use every day. And you can see this would fit in the knife compartment very well along with your other stuff. And you can easily just pull that out as well. I also have this EDC organizer by Art Company. This is the Badger, and this was designed for EDC tools as well. So you could put the knife over here. You could put, let's say, a flashlight. This is the Olight i5T EOS. That should fit in easily, just like that as well. And there will be space for a pen, in this case the Zebra Mini extendable pen, and that can fit in here as well. And that's pretty flat. You can see that fits well, and this can easily go into your pocket or into your bag, and you can carry everything that you want. So, well, two different EDC holders for different uses. This is definitely more casual. This one could go with me, both casual and a bit more formal, I think. So overall, easy to bring around in organizers and your pocket. So the golden question is, does the Tech 2 1 make for a good urban EDC knife? Personally, I think so. The size, the weight, the look, the aesthetic, and the performance of the knife, this is going to get you through all or most urban EDC tasks. And if you have to bring this out in public, people are so used to a Victorinox style knife and the shape of such a blade. If you to open it up, no one's going to think that this is a murder death weapon. So I do think this is a great urban EDC knife. We didn't talk about price. The MSRP is about $47.95, but you can get it below $40 US. Now this is actually more expensive than the Pioneer Solo from Victorinox, which is about $28. And even the Bantam, I think, is not so expensive as well. But remember, you are getting, I think, a bigger blade, thicker blade, better steel as well. So overall, I think it is still a fair price. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that this makes for a good urban EDC knife? If you've got any information you'd like to add or any questions, please let me know in the comments as well. Thanks for watching. Keep it folded. Keep it safe.